In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet fueled by little Girl Scout cookies, because that's what I'm eating today. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime fighting, District Attorney Vincent K. Fabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
Caramel Delights, huh? Better known as
Samoas.
Was there
Samoa
a Y in it
Joe.
back then? I think it was Samoyas. I think there was a Y in it.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, look up.
Back in the day. Also not joined by one job.
Yeah. Apparently they were called Samoas.
Oh, okay.
No Y's.
For some reason I thought there was a Y. Maybe that's because, as Nebraskans, there are some who pronounce it wrong. Mm-hmm. For example, they call that GMC SUV an Arcadia.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
the Chevy one, the Transverse.
The Transverse, yeah. Do you get the Arcadias or those Transverses here?
I'd even settle for an Equinox.
We have neither of them, sir, but we do have
Traverses and Acadias. You don't hear that with other products, though. Chevy's the only product you hear that with.
Here's the deal is, it shouldn't come as a surprise. Nebraska's the state that has a city whose name is spelled Cairo. Pronounced Cairo.
Named after Cairo.
Named after Cairo.
All the streets have Egyptian names.
Still pronounced Cairo.
Cairo. In their bylaws, pronounced Cairo. Ridiculous.
Anyways, like you said, no JLB today, because he's tired. He's gonna go to sleep. He's a sleepy little boy. Maybe if he had some Girl Scout cookies, he'd be awake right now.
Or a delicious energy drink.
Or heroin.
Heroin usually, from my understanding, is not an upper.
Fun fact.
I'm a DA, so I should know.
Total ADHD diversion here. Do you know heroin was created because they were trying to find a painkiller that was less addictive than morphine? They failed.
Yeah. So they use the same substance, an opioid, and we're going for something less addictive than morphine.
Less addictive.
I'm sure that's what they were shooting for with with OxyContin too.
Heroin also, by the way, is a brand name.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Bayer Company. Caramel Delights are not the best thing to eat while you're trying to talk on air.
You can get pharmaceutical grade heroin then?
You could. I don't know if you can anymore.
Wow, that's crazy. Concept. Mind-boggling. Welcome to where the show we talk about drugs, apparently. This is Raw and Order WBU, the Wrestling Booking Unit. It's weekly. We throw an H in on the word weekly because we like to.
Weekly. Here.
Wrestling Booking Unit.
No one's going to know. See? There. Fixed.
They're going to know.
Nobody's going to know.
They're going to know.
Nobody's going to know. How would they know?
They're gonna know. I don't even know what that's from, but it's all over the meme culture or whatever.
It's from TikTok. No, I don't know. It's from something. It's probably like
probably from a movie because it sounds like. Who's the guy from The Notebook?
Gosling.
Yeah, it sounds like Ryan. One of them sounds.
I didn't think it sounded like Ryan Gosling. I want to say it's from probably something like Parks and Recs, but
I'm gonna look it up. What is No One's Gonna Know from? The Forthcoming Caves.
it was a guy just made it as a sound. Like he made a little skit that was him debating with himself whether he should make a fake account and just post comments on his videos. So it's like, they're going to know. Nobody's going to know. So, yeah.
It's actually from a TikTok user. Wow.
So it is legitimately a TikTok. Also,
Good job, guy.
not only is one of them not Ryan Gosling, but it's the same guy. It's just one voice.
Yeah.
It's not multiple voices.
Well done, fella.
Yeah.
Fella! We're here to talk pro wrestling. There wasn't a whole lot of, there's developing storylines in WWE. There's developing storylines in AEW. But not a lot of news this week. Not a lot of oh my god moments. I did yet again enjoy Dominic, which is fucking mind-boggling that I enjoyed Dominic.
As long as he sticks with this hard time gimmick.
I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense that we're enjoying it. All of us. Everybody out there. It's like, well, when it falls apart, will we hate him again?
Maybe.
We're gonna hate him again.
But also,
Can't possibly beat Ray in that match, can he?
I got some more cards to open. So we're gonna open those over the course of this. I figure what's probably excuse me, but probably the best thing for us to talk about this week, because it's kind of the big news this week, was the 2023 edition of the Wrestling Observer News awards for the year. Now, here's the thing with the Wrestling Observer Awards. They are fan voted on by people who pay money to subscribe to Wrestling Observer. Which means, by its very nature, they are going to skew towards the sort of things that Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer News tend to like, right?
Sure.
The people who are apt to pay money for Wrestling Observer are the people who already kind of agree with their opinions, right?
Sure.
It's just like, and I'm sure you would agree with this without getting heavily into politics. If Fox News had a vote on something and CNN had a vote on the same something with the same candidates for it,
likely you would have different results.
You would have different results because the viewers of Fox News are going to vote one way and the viewers of CNN are going to vote a different way.
Typically.
Typically,
Not 100%
right?
of the time. But yeah.
So if this same categories came up and they were on a very heavily pro WWE sort of forum, some of these would come out quite different, right? And so we can debate back and forth, and we probably will disagree with some of the answers on some of these things.
Sure.
But in the grand scheme of things the reason we debate on them is because we understand that these are coming from people who are apt to rank heavily on, especially work rate style wrestling
Sure.
versus heavy storyline style wrestling, you know? And we talked about it last week on the show where some people are heavy storyline people and some people are work rate people. Some people fall somewhere in the middle, right? So, So we will start out. Let's see. I got it pulled up here, and I'm trying to figure out which way is going to be the best way to go. Let's start off with the worst. Worst are going to have some things that people don't like in it already. So we've got worst gimmick. It was a tight race for votes, but the worst gimmick was maximum male models.
Really?
Which I disagree with.
Yeah,
Because I think they're actually kind of fun. But I guess I can understand from a storyline versus work rate mentality.
When was this voted on?
The voting took place, I think, in December.
And there is some effect to that for maximum male models.
There is a bit.
It's
But here's the deal.
Better as time.
The biggest thing with maximum male models is they're a gimmick heavy concept, right? Storyline heavy concept. I would argue, quite frankly, that there's 100 wrestlers out there whose gimmick is, I'm a good wrestler. And that those are worse gimmicks. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
I would argue that there's a bunch of people, some of them on the AEW roster, in fact, a large portion of the AEW women's division is comprised with, I am a good Japanese wrestler. You know, what's Riho's gimmick, aside from, I'm a good wrestler?
That's a valid point.
I'm a big Hikaru Shida fan. I've got her back on my shelf back there. But what is her gimmick other than, I'm a good Japanese wrestler? What is...
Yeah, I mean, she's changed characters a couple times throughout the process, so I can't...
Here's the deal. I don't think she's changed characters. She went through a period where she got a little bit more vicious, and then she got less vicious. But her character always stayed the same. I'm a good Japanese wrestler, right? One of my favorites currently, and he comes up on this list in one of the positive votes, Takeshita, right? What is his gimmick other than I am a good Japanese wrestler?
It's not. There's not really a gimmick for that.
There isn't, right? And I would argue, by its very nature, that makes it worse than people who are at least going out on a limb to come up with something. I understand why some people don't like maximum male models, but I think that has potential, and it's kind of entertaining watching them. You know, about the only problem I have with it is it's about 10 years too late. You know?
Yeah.
It should have come out around the time Zoolander 2 came out. You know what I mean?
That would have been great if it
But, worst promotion of the year. This is where the inherent bias of this concept is going to come in. WWE is listed as worst promotion of the year. NWA came in second, and CYN came in third.
God, that's a tough call, man. To put WWE most disappointing, you could easily say.
Here's what I'm going to go a little bit out of order here, and also point out that best promotion of the year, WWE came in third, right? And that's kind of a I would argue that's first half of the year, last half of the year sort of a thing, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. Because the last half of the year got really good.
Mm-hmm. First half of the year, they were really bad. Last half of the year, they were really big. Necro had a thing on maximum male models. His problem is that Mansoor would get decapitated for his gimmick in his home country. True. And if Saudi Royal Fund ends up buying WWE, are we going to suddenly see maximum male models disappear? Possibly. Anyways, I would argue that a lot of this is people voting for WWE based on the first half of the year as worst, and then people voting for them based on their second half of the year as potentially best. I'm a little surprised
Who do
NWA
you
made
have
it
as the
second.
worst gimmick? Are you just saying generic?
Yeah, for me, for worst gimmick, it's just anybody whose gimmick is just I'm a good professional wrestler, and unfortunately, that includes some really phenomenal professional wrestlers like Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, I would say it lands more in the Yuta and the Daniel Garcia category.
Yeah. Well, that's what Necro. If you missed my intro to this, is you got to remember Wrestling Observer. It's voted on by people who subscribe to Wrestling Observer, which means it's people who already have agreement with the Dave Meltzer viewpoint in lots of ways. It's just like if fucking Cornette had his fans vote on stuff, you would find that they line up very heavily with Cornette, right? So there is always that to take into consideration. I argue that NWA was probably worse than WWE as a whole for the year. But the fact that they also came in third for best promotion of the year, to me implies that there are people who are voting based on the first part of the year and people who are voting based on the second part of the year for WWE. Because WWE drastically improved after Triple H took over.
There's probably a significant portion that are just fuck WWE.
Yeah, there's that, and there's a reason that WWE came in third in best promotion rather than first, and that's because in the eyes of these people who are voting on this, there's a promotion that's going to come in. And here's the deal. I know Necro will disagree with who they have for best promotion of the year. You may disagree with it overall. It's my favorite promotion, so of course I agree with it, you know? But they also had worst feud of the year. The number one worst feud of the year is The Miz versus Dexter Lumis.
I didn't hate it. It wasn't the best by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were some feuds, though, that were definitely worse.
Second place was Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan. And third place was Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. Stardom did crack the top three in some things. I'm trying to remember where it was. I'll get to it, I'm sure, somewhere.
But in reality, Stardom gets shit on by their own company by having a second brand for women.
Yep. Stardom was the second place in promotion of the year. AEW first, Stardom second, WWE third.
Where was New Japan?
Someplace farther down than 3.
Wow.
It only gives me the top 3 on the list that I'm on, because I don't subscribe to the Wrestling Observer, so I can't get to their full listing. So I just have to go on one of these listings here. But third place for worst feud of the year is Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight.
It was a disappointing feud for what I expected, but I would not call it a worst feud of the year.
I think the timing of when the votes took place,
that's the other piece, yeah, because it wasn't done yet.
Because it wasn't done yet, you didn't get to see the ending of it on that. But you know, I mean, frankly, there were some not great.
Roman Brock 37 would probably get it more from me, but Roman Brock was good this year, except for the fact that I can say Roman Brock 37.
Exactly. Well, that's the deal. Is you could probably say Roman Brock individual worst match or something like that, but worst feud, I don't think it falls under.
No.
And so, worst match of the year. Speaking of, number 1. Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon from WrestleMania last year.
God,
by a landslide.
That's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. Pretty solid worst match of the year.
Yeah.
So much so that I think Pat McAfee actually retweeted it.
McAfee deserved better than what he got there.
Ric Flair and Andrade versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal from Ric Flair's last match came in second.
Worst feud of the year is Ric Flair versus Time. You will
then
lose, Rick.
Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi came in third. But McAfee versus Vince was by far the top pick for. But yeah, Ric Flair's last match was really bad though too. I mean, I think the only thing that kept it above is you had an Andrade and a Jay Lethal in there to try to keep it afloat. Fucking Jeff Jarrett, god damn it, hate him. Anyways,
Work rate, bud. Work rate.
I don't even think he qualifies for work rate, but worst television show. Again, keep in mind the Wrestling Observer WON inherent bias on it. WWE Raw was number 1.
Really? Mm-hmm. Was there number 2 NWA?
No, their number 2 was NXT.
Which was rough this year.
Their number 3 was NWA.
Yeah, I was going to say, NWA Power is... And Raw only sucked for half the year. Mm-hmm. Raw seriously got better in August.
Yeah. The thing with NWA Power is they're all in on this old school aesthetic. They're all in on let's feel like this is 1981 public access TV, you know? And for some people, they really like it. But for me, I can't get into that aesthetic. I just can't. It's...
well, I mean, you're not sitting around watching faux Wayne's World shows now. So, there are plenty of podcasts that are very much that aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. But podcasts get away with it because they're not $1 million company headed by a millionaire. And that's the thing is NWA Power is doing it by choice. It's not a podcast being held out of someone's room who decorates it with some dollar store LED lights and Funko Pops behind him, right? Who's doing it on his own budget out of his pocket. It's a fucking $1 million company with a millionaire owner. It's making the choice to look the way it was. And that's part of the problem. Most disgusting promotional tactic. I'm going to do the top 3 in countdown order, right? Number 3, Ric Flair's last match.
Okay.
I don't know if I specifically think it's the most disgusting, but...
It's Rick just wanting to be what he's not anymore.
Mm-hmm. But,
you can't blame an old guy for not wanting to be an old guy.
Number 2 most disgusting promotional tactic. WWE continues its relationship with Saudi Arabia.
Money talks, I suppose.
And the number 1 most disgusting promotional tactic, the reason I did this is because we were there for part of this.
Vince walking around fucking trying McMahon to cover his ass.
Appearing on television in front of a crowd pop right after the sexual misconduct allegations.
That deserves number 1 the way it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now, we weren't there for the first one. That was like 2 weeks before us. Or a week before us. But we were there for one of the first. And it was not cool.
It made you fucking cringe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Worst major wrestling show. What would you guess worst major wrestling show? And by major wrestling show, they're talking
I would say Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber came in number 2 because that was in Saudi Arabia. Necro's going to be very disappointed that it is not Forbidden Door. In fact, you're going to be even more disappointed when we get to best major wrestling shows. According to the Wrestling Observer News fan vote, Royal Rumble 2022 was the worst major wrestling show.
And I can't blame them because it was the Brock and Ronda show. It was the, hey, these used to be UFC people show.
Like I said, number 2 was Elimination Chamber, and number 3 was GCW The World.
Necro's
January of last year.
At all.
The thing is, I don't necessarily disagree with Royal Rumble being the worst, because like you say, it was the Rock and Ronda show.
There was other stuff there. I don't know. It was...
Well, I remember how...
We took day 1 and we went, that was better than the Rumble. The Rumble itself wasn't... The other stuff wasn't bad. It was the 2 Rumble matches that were just horrible.
I'm going to pull up the entirety of the Royal Rumble 2022, just so we know.
If I remember right, there were some pretty good matches on there. And
yeah. So, Necro, not angry about the World being 3 because he did not like it either. He said it was next level bad. Made him look Bush League. So, here were the matches for Royal Rumble 2022. Seth Rollins defeated Roman Reigns by DQ. Ronda Rousey won the Women's Royal Rumble by eliminating Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch defended her championship against Doudrop and won.
I forgot about that match.
Bobby Lashley defeated Brock Lesnar. Edge and Beth Phoenix defeated Miz and Maurice. And then Brock Lesnar showed back up in the Royal Rumble as the surprise 30th entrant to be there for 2 minutes and win.
What?
2 minutes and 32 seconds to be precise, but get 5 eliminations.
The Brock says.
I don't necessarily disagree with that being.
I just remember Elimination Chamber just being fucking horrible. But it's number 3 on the list, so
yeah,
we're number 2 on the list.
You know, I think Necro does hit one point here with this thing. And in a way, it's kind of an offshoot of the network era that we live in. And maybe it's a good thing that AEW does still as a regular pay-per-view rather than a network thing. Because I remember as a kid, I remember in the 90s, early 2000s, inviting a bunch of friends over to my house. We'd all get together to watch the pay-per-view.
Sure.
And there'd be 6, 7, 8 of us all together in a room. And we'd cheer, and we'd yell at the screen. And we'd fight with each other over who should have won and all that stuff. But that's when they were $60 a pop, and none of us wanted to spend $60 by ourselves, right?
Correct.
So we'd invite 5 friends, and we each put in $10, and then it'd be great, right? But now with the network, all of us already put in $10 a month, so you just watch it at home, right? Now for like you and I am sure if we lived closer together,
we'd watch them together.
We'd watch them together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We did when we both lived in the same town. But now we live far enough apart. I watch them by myself. I live streamed my reactions to it right here by myself in
And
this room.
if it was the old school way that we couldn't communicate and couldn't watch them and all that stuff, you know, we'd probably make road trips for the big four.
Yeah, but and so that might play into it a little bit, but let's see what's next. Worst television announcer.
JR? No, they don't have JR. It's probably Graves.
I disagree with their choice, but it is Graves as number one.
I don't think Graves is as bad as people give him credit.
No. I agree with their number two, and it's Booker T is number two.
Yeah, Booker T is probably. I mean, put Mark Henry behind a mic permanently, like he was in 2021, and yeah, that's up there.
But and three is JR. You got third place in worst television. Now, I personally think JR needs to step away from commentary and listen. This isn't trying to take anything away from his past, his history, and all that stuff. I just think the sport has moved past JR as a whole.
Unfortunately, I think you're right.
And the less he's on actual commentary, the better. Graves isn't that bad. I actually enjoy Graves.
I think he's a high quality heel announcer. And he's not a creep as a heel. I mean, he's a creep because we've had to watch him make out with his wife,
but he's not like
kudos
puppies.
Yeah.
So, let's see, what else do we have in the worst? That might be the last of the worst.
There's not a wrestler of the year or anything like that in the worst or worst wrestler of the year.
There's not a worst wrestler, so I don't think so. I'm just scrolling to make sure I didn't miss one. But there are bests, so let's move on to bests. Let's try to get a little positive here and talk about what they think the bests are. Best gimmick.
Roman Reigns.
Not a bad choice. Didn't make the top three, though.
I mean, it was repairing a poorly done gimmick before. The top three I'm going to guess are Cody Rhodes.
Nope.
Okay. Wow, I don't know them.
You should know number one. You should know. You
Is it
know
Bray
all
Wyatt?
three.
Are they saying
Nope.
Bray Wyatt? Okay.
Nope. It is not Reigns or Bray Wyatt. They did not make
In
either of them
terms
make top three.
of a gimmick, like Okada's up there, but it's got. I feel like it's Reigns, like as a gimmick. It's gold, but Moxley's probably number one then if it's not either of those. Oh, I froze.
Okay.
I froze. Did Moxley?
I think I froze for a second there. So, anyways,
You did.
but no, number one, best gimmick of the year, honorary Oos, Sami Zayn.
That's pretty solid. But it's only half the year.
Again, product of the time. People vote for what they're familiar with at the time. Necro, yeah, I enjoy Maximum Male Models, and they said they were the worst, so it's a little bit stumping there. Sami Zayn, best gimmick of the year. Number two, The Acclaimed.
That's solid.
And number three, and this definitely goes into the
Bias.
the bias in a bit. It's one of my favorites. I have a shirt. I'm not wearing it right now. I should have, but I'm not. He's a littler guy. He might be a demon, or maybe a vampire. He might be really old. He really wants money. He's very nice.
Oh, Dan.
but also very evil.
It's a good gimmick.
So,
But it's the only way he's ever gotten over in his career. So he's been that gimmick for ages.
yeah. But promoter of the year. Now here's where I do have to point out that the Wrestling Observer News does include MMA in their lineup sometimes. So keep that in mind.
Dan Lambert is who they have number 1.
No.
I didn't know what you were going with that.
Number 2 is Dana White.
Oh, okay. Number one, they have Tony Khan, don't they?
Tony Khan is number 1, yes.
Yeah. And number 643 out of 227, Vince McMahon.
I don't know how far down Vince or
Vacant.
Triple H made it
Beats
on
Vince.
Promoter of the Year, but he's not in the top 3. Tony Khan, number 1, Promoter of the Year. Dana White, number 2, and Rossi Ogwa, number 3. And Rossi Ogwa, this goes to Necro here. He is the head booker for Stardom. So this is another place where Stardom got some love. So another place there. Best Booker, which they separate from promoter because promoter's about promoting the stuff, and all that, whereas booking is about storyline. So in the case of WWE,
Vince would be the promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Or Nick Khan would be the promoter now, and
yeah.
Trips would be the booker.
Necro, you're correct. Yeah, you're correct there, Faye. But Necro, I would agree with you if we're talking about more money. We're not specifically talking about money because direct dollars to dollars is a tough comparison. You also have to look at improvement percentage. Whereas UFC might have made more money overall, they stayed fairly stagnant on the amount of money they made per event, sort of a thing. They didn't improve. Whereas Tony Khan, each gate was more and more and more, and I think that weighs into it a little bit. Again, this is also a fan-voted thing, and they voted Tony Khan number 1. They also voted Tony Khan number 1 in Best Booker.
I really would have said Triple H because he was digging out of a hole.
Yeah.
A pretty severe hole.
Triple H made it 3. Probably, in this case, you could argue it's probably because he only had half a year doing it, right, for booking. And Rossi is number 2. And I want to point out, this was actually a really close vote. So, Rossi was not that far off from getting Best Booker this year. But we did worst. Best Wrestling Maneuver
of the year.
And this I'm going to clarify, meaning this isn't like a single shot wrestling maneuver. This is like a wrestling maneuver that's very over with the crowd. People really like every time they do it. You know what I mean? So it's not like for 2021. It's not like they're saying the best wrestling maneuver is Sammy Guevara's slingshot off the top ladder cutter to Cody Rhodes, because that was a one-time maneuver, not a reoccurring.
Gotcha. So this would be something like Canadian Destroyer being the best wrestling maneuver, which I assume is up there. That may not be number 1.
It is, as far as I know, it's not number one. Definitely, it's not 1 through 3. You could probably think this best finisher is really the word for it.
Is it Buckshot Lariat?
That came in number 2.
One-Winged
Adam
Angel
Page,
was
Buckshot
number 1.
Lariat. What did you say?
One-Winged Angel.
Number 3. Paradigm Shift did not make it to the top 3 Necro, even though I love the Paradigm Shift when he gets it up there.
Crossroads then, if it's not either of those others.
Nope.
Melter Driver.
No.
Well, it sure as fuck ain't a Superman punch or a spear.
You are correct. It is not. So tired of this tickle. Will Ospreay's Hidden Blade.
Oh. Yeah, that just looks fucking mean. It looks like a concussion waiting to happen. I know it's not because it's the back of his
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, femur. This one up here.
Yep.
But it fucking look because even if they can't see it, his body's hitting them before he's actually doing a strike.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, it looks vicious.
Well, the thing is, there's the theatrics of it. The pulling down the elbow pad.
Yeah.
Standing back, the bounce off, and then come in, and, So I get it.
Yeah, it's probably one of the safer moves that Ospreay does. But
before we go on, I'm going to go through this pack I opened because
the
there's some
wind
fun
up,
cards.
absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah,
It always looks fucking vicious.
Mm-hmm.
Which some of the best, here's the deal. Styles Clash is one of the most dangerous moves in the game. And it never looks fucking badass. Ever. I take that back. It looked badass one time when some dude actually fucking hurt somebody with it by doing a back kick out, like jumping out off the turnbuckle with a Styles Clash and smashing the dude's face into the ground and instantaneously concussing him something terrible. I think you sent me that video, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why you don't do stupid moves in stupid ways. Ospreay looks vicious. Oh my god, that's a fantastic card!
That is a great card. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Let me give you full screen for it.
This is just a standard Chronicles, but I'm really happy with that one.
I fucking love Bam Bam, man.
I am really happy with the
He
standard
got shit
Chronicles.
on by every promoter he had.
He did.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hitman Hart.
Bam Bam was never even the ECW champ, was he?
I don't think so.
He's too old.
Damn.
Damn.
A really nice looking, I can't remember what they call this, but a bronze Cameron Grimes to the moon. In relation, reports have it that he has been pulled up from NXT. He's ready for the main roster. They just don't have a storyline for him yet, so he's sitting in catering.
Straight back to the LA Knight and Cameron Grimes feud, just right off the bat.
Macho Man Randy
Okay,
Savage.
that's what I thought that was. Yeah.
Focus. It's a really nice one. An Origins card. Mode. And
that's the one that's married to Bryan Danielson, correct?
correct.
There's some brushing on that.
And an authentic that they call these ones authentic memorabilia, but it's not like they have like anything on them. It's just a card. But of Liv Morgan. I don't think I had almost any of those. I think those are all fresh ones. So, anyways, here's where we'll let Necro get a little angry here. Best major wrestling show, as in pay-per-view. We'll start with number 3.
I'm going to say it's All Out.
No. Did not make the top 3.
Ooh. WrestleMania?
WrestleMania Night 1. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 2.
God, I hope they don't have WrestleMania Night 2 on there.
They do not.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Forbidden Door.
No.
So number 2 is what's the 8-day tournament thing? What is that called? Where Ospreay faced Moxley. God damn it! Why can't I remember the name of that? Wrestle Kingdom.
It was not.
What?
Number 2, AEW Revolution. From almost exactly a year ago.
Okay.
And number 1...
Wrestle Kingdom didn't make it?
No. This
Number
is
1
where
is
Necro's
Forbidden
going to
Door.
have an aneurysm when I say this.
Forbidden Door.
AEW and JPW Forbidden Door. I'm just waiting for the blow up.
Great. Dang, he says.
You know, it is what it is. I loved it. I can understand Necro not liking it. You know, we've talked recently a lot. Necro falls on a different spectrum of fandom than I do. Directly. And so, but...
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to pick one, he'd pick the one where the blood and guts match was. The AEW one.
But best television announcer.
Siobhan Wynn.
No.
Is it Taz?
No.
Cole?
No. I'm gonna say right now that if you might go a long time before you choose this one.
Well, is it a particular gentleman who used to be on NXT and is now with UFC?
No.
I don't know. So it's not Mauro Ranallo.
It is not Marvel.
Not Shivani. Not Taz.
I'll start with
Not
number
Cole.
3.
Pat McAfee?
No.
There's a lot of energy out of Pat McAfee. I know people don't like him, but I understand the people who do. I mean, there's tons of energy in that dude. I don't know. Who's number 3? Did none of the names I mentioned make the list even?
They did not make the top 3 in any way.
Wow. Okay. Go on.
I'm going to go...
Yeah, him and Cole were fantastic together.
McAfee is great. Did not make the top 3. Cole did not make the top 3. But I am going to
Cole's a
give
legacy pick, though. He's been
Necro
picked for a long time.
the bonus point because Kevin Kelly was number 1.
I don't get it.
Number 2 is Excalibur.
I get that, I suppose.
And number 3 is Ian Riccaboni.
Where's he at?
Ring of Honor. He's been one of their commentators, one of their regular commentators for a long time. Yep. Kevin Kelly really carries the New Japan English commentary.
You forget about it because you don't get to watch it as much as you want. But yeah, that's legit.
I'm so tired of this cough. I'm so very, very tired. Speaking of Ring of Honor, they taped their first weeks of shows this weekend. Some big stuff coming out of it. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but some pretty big matches coming out of it. So, looking forward to that. Move on to best non-wrestler.
That's Logan Paul, isn't it?
They would classify Logan Paul as a wrestler, specifically as a rookie wrestler.
Okay. I think that was a clue for later on. Best non-wrestler. Kathy Kelly. I don't know. Kathy Kelly?
Necro's got it on the nose. Paul Heyman.
Oh, Paul. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Number 2, William Regal.
That's solid.
And number 3, Don Callis. Not personally a Don Callis.
I think I'd go with Brandon Cutler, but technically he's a wrestler, I suppose.
He is indeed a wrestler. So, while we are speaking of it, Rookie of the Year.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul is 3.
Okay, the dude that beat Jericho. The kid that beat Jericho.
Action Andretti, no. Yeah. But I would have maybe put him on the list. I don't know.
Put him over Logan Paul.
I don't know. Logan, here's the deal. Logan Paul had the best first 3 matches of any rookie I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
However, most rookies don't get to game plan and rehearse their first 3 matches personally with HBK for a month in advance of each one of them.
Yeah.
Which makes it late.
That's a good call. But Braun just last year?
So
that all he had?
So I'm going to talk about this a bit because it is a stickler point for me. Braun Breaker is number 1. He's the one who won, right? First place. Second place is Hook.
Now you don't like Hook, if I remember right.
No, I really like. I really like Hook.
Maybe it was JLB.
JLB doesn't like any person whose gimmick to start off is I come out and I beat people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so here's my thing with I really like Braun Breaker. I understand picking him as the Rookie of the Year, except he debuted on NXT in September of 2021.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong about that.
You were not wrong, and that's where my problem is with calling him Rookie of the Year.
Because he was a 1-year rookie for 9 months.
Yeah, and that's my tough thing on it.
Yeah.
Now he did win the NXT Championship on New Year's Eve, January 4th, 2022. But that's my point, is he already had 3 months of matches underneath his belt before. I
feel like there's some arguments to be made for some women's wrestlers there too.
Possibly. And we'll see. You know, that's what I say. To me, I'm being nitpicky. I understand. You know, but hey, it's when they start their first full year. He started his first full year on a show in September of 2021. But it bugs me, but I'm being nitpicky and all of that stuff. So,
does Dominic changing to Prison Dominic count?
No, it does not.
Who are the other ones? So you've got Breaker,
Hook, and Logan Paul, number 3.
Logan Paul, okay. Real quick, I'm gonna just do half of this hanger pack from Prismatics. So I've got Angel, also known as Angel Garza.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of shit that they had to take away names. Jimmy Uso. Tony D'Angelo. And Bobby Lashley. I love the way Brock Lesnar says Bobby. I don't know why. Bobby. It's like Hank Hill. Fucking Hank Hill just takes over his body for a second.
Like Bobby like his car clinic.
Bobby. Booker T.
Runner-up for worst television announcer.
Arguably one of those great rookies that I was talking about in the women's division, Tiffany Stratton. A couple of years ago, you could have called this guy a Rookie of the Year, Carmelo Hayes. That dude's a stud. And I'll stop there. Well, I'll show this one because it's just shit. Shanky. Will never be in anything of the year that's best.
I would argue that Carmelo Hayes, he debuted on the September 14th episode of NXT, so this around the same time as Braun Breaker.
Really? I thought he was longer ago than that.
He showed up, I guess, a little earlier, answering Kushida's open challenge, but that was just based off of the cruiserweight tournament thing.
Homeboy definitely should have been in the conversation right after Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker got the title though, so
yeah.
But he sells better storylines.
Most underrated wrestler of the year. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to say this pointedly towards Necro. This is voted on by mainstream wrestling fans. And so
Nick Gage is not winning this.
I am sure there's a dozen wrestlers, Necro, that you would choose as more underrated than the top three on this.
I'll throw a name out there, Kushida.
Not in the top three. Woefully underused when he was in NXT.
Still underused in AEW.
Well, he's not technically an AEW wrestler. He's a New Japan wrestler who made some appearances in AEW. Okay. He did, however, I believe, wrestle in the Ring of Honor tapings.
Underappreciated or underutilized?
The official title of this is underrated.
Underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Theory?
Nope.
Sami Zayn?
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say because their gimmick is actually being underrated. So Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta.
Nope and nope.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing.
Number 3, most
Ricochet is what JLB would say if he was here.
Number 3.
Number 3 was Ricochet.
Ricochet. Number 2. Shoosh.
You'd have said that one. Yep. In a heartbeat.
Love me some Chad Gable. So, number 2. And number 1. Konosuke Takeshita.
That's a fair statement. I don't know that you can call him underrated now, though.
That's kind of my thing is... Now, I guess I understand if the voting did take place in December. I can sort of understand. Because here's the thing. Takeshita was a DDT wrestler who came over to America to wrestle some matches. Wrestled a bunch of matches for AEW. AEW fans really liked him, and then he went back over to Japan to finish out his contract with DDT. And it wasn't until end of the year that he'd finished out his DDT contract and was able to sign with AEW and come back to America.
So, because people got a taste of him.
A taste of him, and then... and then he disappeared. I guess I can understand it, but the thing is, he's being pushed to the moon right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like calling Cameron Grimes underrated. Mm-hmm. Or Carmelo Hayes. Or...
To the moon. I did miss overrated category.
They're gonna have Roman on there.
You are correct. Number 3 is Roman Reigns.
They're gonna have Brock on there.
Nope. Not on the top 3, at least.
Braun Strowman.
Nope.
Braun Strowman's probably number 1 on that list. Should be. Matt and Nick Jackson.
Nope. Arguably should be. I'm not saying, but no.
Well, it ain't gonna be Omega. Bryan Danielson.
Nope.
Moxley.
Number 2 is going to be a little hard for you to guess, considering it's a show that we do not watch. We talked about how we do not watch this show.
Oh, Magnus. Yeah.
Not Magnus, but you're on the right show.
Tyrus. That's pretty good. That's solid. They're right.
Mm-hmm. And number 1, the baddest woman on the planet.
Oh, fuck yes. Yes. I was guessing at Roman. I don't think Roman's overrated now.
That's where I would argue that that's an example of the bias coming in.
Yeah. A year ago, I'd have said he was overrated. I don't think he's overrated now. I think he can carry a storyline like a motherfucker if it's the right storyline. And he's got Paul Heyman there to coach him about it. I still think you have Paul Heyman involved in teaching him how to say his stuff, even after the bloodline breaks up. Like, you get him fucking coached all the time. So, anyway, yeah, but yes, Ronda Rousey is definitely the most overrated. She can be that for this year already, too.
Yeah. Best high-flying wrestler.
Ricochet.
Nope.
Is where we're at. He's not on the list.
Not on the top 3.
Holy shit. Okay. Sammy Guevara.
Nope.
Okay. This is mainstream people.
For the most part, I am going to, unfortunately, Necro Ninja Mac does not make the top 3 either. Although you are surprisingly closer to number 1 than D.A. Fabe has gotten so far, in a way.
So the top flight, not Darius, Dante Martin.
Dante Martin, number 3.
Number 3? No WWE guys in this.
No WWE guys. You're correct.
This is the only one that you could put in there would be Ricochet. So, Ospreay would have been a couple years ago, but not now.
Yeah, he doesn't do the high flying anymore. Number 2, it wrestles in AEW as well as other promotions.
High flyer.
Number 1, I think you're going to have a hard time because it's not on a promotion that we watch typically here.
Who's number 2?
But number 2, you know him. He is part of a brothers team.
But it's not Darius Martin.
But it's not Darius Martin.
Nick Jackson?
Nope.
It's not
But it had some good matches with Nick Jackson.
Are they going to say Jeff Hardy?
Nope.
I was going to say he's been out most of the year.
But he's not going to prison, so, you know.
No. He's going to rehab several months. Try to make me go to rehab.
Let's just say while he might have fear, his brother has zero miedo.
Oh, so it's Ray Phoenix, huh?
Ray Phoenix is number 2.
Really?
And number 1, I'm not even going to make you guess at it because you'll never guess because it's not one that you watch. It's El Hijo del Vikingo. Who I've watched in a few matches, but not enough to say I know him.
I would put Crazy Steve over over Ray Phoenix. I think Ray Phoenix is a hard hitter and some stunts, but I don't think he...
Ray Phoenix is known for walking the top rope and doing the jumpings off the top ropes and the flips, so. Bruiser Brody Memorial Award, which is the best brawler.
Motherfucker. Eddie Kingston's on this fucking list.
He is not. You luck out on that.
Oh, thank God.
Although I got a pretty sweet ass Eddie Kingston sticker to put on my car in my pro wrestling crate this week.
Best brawler. Mox.
Moxley is number one by a long shot. I mean, keep in mind, this was voted on before AEW's cameras decided to frame him perfectly while he bladed. A couple weeks ago.
Nick Cage.
No.
Really thought he'd be on this one.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, number 2 and number 3 are both mostly known for their wrestling in Japan. So tired of this.
I don't know.
Number 2, Tomohiro Ishii.
Fair enough.
And number 3,
And he was a brawl. I mean, his match with Mox was it him that fought Mox. Yeah, that was.
He's just a flat out brawler.
Mean.
And number
Gunther
3
wasn't on here.
Nope, Gunther's not on the best brawler list.
Okay.
Number 3, Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki.
That was the one with Mox.
Both Ishii and Suzuki did matches with Mox last year.
They were both fucking vicious.
Yes.
I don't know how you don't have Nick Cage on there though.
Eh.
That guy will break his face for a pop.
The thing is, I mean, Nick Gage, he specializes not in the brawling, but in the deathmatch style, which I think, Moxley's moved enough away from.
Yeah.
To kind of do. The next award. I am not going to read you the entire name of the award.
Because it'll be that obvious? Or what?
Because it'll be very obvious. It is the Best Technical Wrestler Award.
The Bryan Danielson Best Technical Wrestler Award. No?
Is that your guess?
Well, I'm guessing he's on there.
He's number 1. It's the Bryan Danielson Award, the Best Technical Wrestler, and he's number 1. Right?
I would say Ospreay's on there.
Nope.
Omega?
Nope.
Wow. Maybe Octopus?
Nope. Not Gresham. I'll give you a hint. One of them has wrestled mostly in Japan recently. The other one is a AEW / Ring of Honor contracted wrestler.
Claudio Castagnoli?
No.
I say he's not I'm so tired of people calling him a technical wrestler. Smojo.
No.
Smojo? No.
Number 3, fresh off his run as Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and where he lost the title to Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia.
Okay.
Number 2, Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, that's fair.
who, if I'm correct, give me 1 second to come over here and check something really quickly to make sure. Because I'm pretty sure. Yep, there we go. Zack Sabre Jr., who's currently the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Champion, did defend that title at the tapings of Ring of Honor's new TV show. So that's kind of interesting to defend a New Japan title belt on Ring of Honor TV. So hopefully American audiences get a little bit more familiar with Zack Sabre Jr.
We got a request that we take a drink for your cough. It's to help your cough, they said. Sprite.
You know what the only thing that'll help my cough is?
Not being sick.
If I can get rid of this fucking sinus infection.
Well, if it's fucking, then you should have them pull out before they're.
Don't you know rhythm method doesn't work for sinus infections? But yes, the Bryan Danielson Award for Best Technical Wrestler did go to Bryan Danielson. Now, in fairness, they named it the Bryan Danielson Award when he was retired.
Yes.
And they really should have said, "Oh, you're back to wrestling again. Let's remove your name from this for the time being." But they did not. Most charismatic.
Cody Rhodes.
I will say right now that I have an issue with the winner being called most charismatic, because this is not the definition of charisma in my book. But you know,
charisma is draw. It's people who draw you to them. They pull you in.
Draw you
heel or positive.
I would argue that charisma is about drawing you to them, and the winner, the number one, he's got a heck of a knack for making you hate him, which I argue is
Chris
not
Jericho.
charisma. It's MJF. It's not charisma, but that's...
It's a negative charisma, and I understand it. I would understand Roman, Chris Jericho, MJF.
Roman made it to number 3, Sami Zayn number 2.
Yeah. I would also argue that right now Cody Rhodes is the most charismatic.
I would say Cody Rhodes charismatic. I would stand for someone arguing like Seth Rollins is charismatic.
Yeah.
But Sami Zayn definitely charismatic. Right. Yeah. But MJF's the winner. To me, my definition of charisma
I'm drawn to want to choke him with his
Burberry
scarf.
But most improved.
MJF.
No.
What? His in-ring work isn't all that great, but I mean, it's not like life-changing. Wheeler Yuta.
Not in the top 3.
And Daniel Garcia.
Nope. I will point out, you will probably never guess
Liv Morgan, 2. That's a great one.
Liv Morgan would be on my list, but did not make the top 3 of this. I will say this. You and I will have a hard time with number 2 because it's something we don't watch. Necro probably is more familiar with number 2 than us. But number 1 and number 3 are both people that we're familiar with.
AEW?
Correct, yes.
The Acclaimed?
Ding, 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 number 1.
That makes sense.
I mean,
That
considering
makes sense.
2
It's
years
tough.
ago they were kind of just muddling around in the mid card.
It's tough not to include Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta, whose gimmicks are literally most improved. Like that's their jobs right now.
But,
Orange Cassidy maybe, but he's been a great athlete the entire time. It's the
number 3 is someone who was in AEW, had left AEW for reasons, and has recently come back to have lots of success.
Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, that was going to be my other female.
and then
Liv
to
Morgan
answer-
belongs on this list.
To answer Necro on this one, Mina Shirakawa is number 2, who I would assume is Stardom, but since I don't get to watch Stardom consistently, not sure. Yeah. So she's number 2 on the most improved. We're getting down towards the end here. I've still got a few, but before I do those, I've got a couple packs to go through because I've been kind of opening them offhanded. So starting off,
I'll take off the screen. Oh my god, it's a
Dragon.
fantastic card.
a standard Chronicles.
Maybe not the
of-
best picture of him, but fuck. I still think back to his match with Walter. Oh fuck, that was such a good match.
A standard Chronicles of Veer. And it does look like he might be coming in that photo.
He's still coming.
Nobody's Mina than Tamina.
I mean, at least she made a career out of it, man. She did what all of us dreamed of.
Bronze Chronicles of Mr. Finn Balor.
Both percents of body fat there.
A prismatic Elite Series Bianca Belair.
That's not the most flattering cut of that photo.
A gold playoffs Roderick Strong.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
We're talking about playoffs?
And I seriously think I've already gotten this one twice before. Veronica Valentina Ferraz card. And then from the next pack, I'm going to see your angel, and I'm going to match it with my angel. A standard Chronicles Triple H.
Trips.
A gold absolute memorabilia Roman.
With his cheat sheet on his arm.
Yep. A Black Series Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which
That's
I actually think is a duplicate,
fucking cool.
but if it is, it goes in the duplicate pile. A Score Odyssey Jones. A Rookie Stars Blair Davenport, formerly known as B. Priestley. God, where's my lighter?
With the mullet.
Prestige Series Jerry Lawler. Fucking Lawler. Hate him. To answer your question, Necro, we will try to have to find a day that we can do a match review. I've been thinking about that exact same sort of thing. Getting all 4 of us all together on here, watch the same match, a match of your choice, so that you can can introduce us.
We could do it the same day we do the review of All In.
We could possibly do that. Yep, we just got to get it all figured out. And also, I do think the B. Priestley ones is going to be really good. I'm a big B. Priestley fan. I was absolutely pissed when AEW chose to release her rather than just hold on to her through the pandemic. I understand why they did it, but I wasn't happy with it. So, because I thought she had star written all over her for AEW.
Still does. She's just in a line.
So, moving on, we have Feud of the Year.
Well, technically, Sammy and Roman wasn't a feud until now. Till this year, so that's not going to be on there.
You are correct.
I'm going to go Ospreay Moxley.
Did not make the top 3.
Was it Forbidden Door related stuff on those?
None of the Feud of the Years are Forbidden Door.
Even if it was not physically at Forbidden Door, it was the other way around.
None of the feuds were... Well, I'll say it this way. None of the feuds are specifically cross-promotion.
Okay. Seth and Cody.
Numero Trace.
CM Punk and Moxley.
You were very, very close, but no.
CM Punk and MJF.
Number 2.
We didn't even get the match. Fucking horseshit. Briscoe's FTR is number 1.
Briscoe's FTR.
Can't blame
Feud of the Year.
There's a certain amount of sentimental that goes into that vote, but I gotta give it to him.
There is, but again, if the vote went through in December, that was pre-Jay's passing.
Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
God, there were some really good feuds last year, though.
There were some good ones.
I mean, MJF and Wardlow, Wardlow and Joe is turning out to be a really good one long term. All right, I'm going to finish out this prismatic pack.
Okay.
Got Josh Briggs, member of Joe Gacy's crew. Guru Raj. That is a, who the fuck is this? I'm not familiar.
I think, if I'm correct, pull it up again.
It's NXT.
But if I'm correct, I might have to look at that one. It might not be who I was thinking, but I was thinking it was the other former Indus Share member. But
3, or red, white, and blue, Trips. And this is old Trips. Red, white, and blue, Stacy Keibler. I'll be taking that upstairs with me. A Bianca Belair, red, white, and blue.
nice.
Delivering the KOD to Sasha in that picture. A prismatic entrances for the future Women's SmackDown Champion, Rhea Ripley. And a next level, God, I hope that your career isn't over. Randy Orton.
Those next level ones are really nice, though. So
I love those, yeah. And it's unfortunate that he has the injury that he has.
Moving on to best box office draw.
That had to be Forbidden Door.
This is about individuals.
Oh.
Individual draw.
CM Punk's on that.
Number 3.
Roman Reigns.
Number 1.
Number 2, Cody Rhodes.
Nope.
Jericho.
Nope. You're probably going to have a hard time guessing number 2.
Will Ospreay.
Just from a standpoint of...
Kazuchika Okada.
Nope.
Sasha Banks.
Nope.
The Man.
Nope.
You got any help here, Necro? I'm dying here, bud. I got the first 2 along with you.
Necro's not gonna... it's not in Necro's field, I would say. Number 1, and he's not gonna be exactly pleased with them being number 2 for box office draw.
Britt Baker.
And he's also gonna be one of those that I think someone's gonna be angry hearing.
Britt Baker. Bryan Danielson.
Nope.
Samoa Joe. God, no, he's not the best box office draw.
I'm just waiting. No, we already got number 1 and 3. Roman Reigns number 1, CM Punk number 3. Number 2.
Omega was out half the fucking year, so that didn't work.
And it's not Omega.
Moxley?
It is not Moxley. I'm just waiting for the explosion.
John Morrison.
Nope.
Or Johnny whatever. I think it's back to Nitro right now.
He changes it depending on which promotion he's in.
Yeah.
Like he's wrestling in Pro Wrestling Revolver in Iowa in next week, and he's Johnny Revolver there. So, but no, it is not. It is not Edge. Everyone's gonna be so pissed at this, especially when you remember a statistic.
Tomohiro Ishii.
Nope.
Ha! That's awesome. I will definitely have to go watch that video. Send us the link. I will watch that one. All the 19 Johnny names. Nitro's worst. That's fucking great.
I'm gonna pull the Band-Aid off on this.
Yeah.
John Cena.
He wrestled one fucking match in 2022. One fucking match.
You want to know an even funnier part of the statistic here? The votes were before that match.
What in the bloody fuck? Hey, I guess he showed up in the summertime for a promo because they had the honor to John Cena, 20 years of John Cena. So that's what drew was the 20 years of John. No! Meltzer, get in the way. Don't even put the vote that as an option for them to vote. How does that work?
Well,
how? More importantly, how's that above CM Punk? CM Punk should come back as a heel just to bitch about that. Just to bitch about that.
Hey, so I would argue
MJF's a bigger draw than Cena. Fuck, I'd argue Braun Strowman's a better draw than Cena in 2022.
You can make that argument. He did, however.
Did he have 2 times he showed up? Is that what you're about to tell me?
Nope. It's gonna make everyone so angry. Remember the phrases box office draw.
They're talking about the fucking 6 movies or whatever he probably released last year. Doesn't that make that fucking The Rock then?
You could definitely make that argument there. I'm just saying, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is gonna be fun.
When they did this voting, he's literally in the same category as Stone Cold. Like, this is just fucking horseshit. And Stone Cold created a draw at least to buy the network so you could watch a specialty show. I feel like I need to do this in the Macho Man's voice, brother. Oh my god! I've never heard such a shit fucking result. That is the... Nick Gage is a better fucking draw for professional wrestling than John Cena was.
You could also argue that John Cena, despite not wrestling in a match...
Can you just shoot it to Smarks in a direct message? I do want to watch it. I don't know how to give you permissions on this thing. Are you finding it?
I'm seeing.
And we will cross promote. You've been doing your indie stuff like Smark suggested. This is a great cross promotion for you because I think people would absolutely love to watch the let's rate the 19 names of Johnny Morrison. That's so fucking good. Now, is that all Johnny names or is it just Morrison? Because technically you have Johnny Wrestling, which means you have to include Johnny Gargano.
Okay.
You would argue what?
I was going to say something. What I was going to say is I would argue that John Cena did sell out events for WWE just by the mention of his name connected to it, which is in and of itself kind of the definition of box office draw. But I knew it was going to make you just go...
Sold out an event. The John Cena Memorial 20-year celebration. Fucking garbage. Fucking garbage. You didn't move numbers that fucking much.
So, I'm going to take some time to calm you down by showing you some cards here. Starting off with Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah. Drew more people to wrestling than John Cena last year.
Mustafa Ali.
Also drew more people to wrestling than John Cena. And he was out for half the year.
HBK Shawn Michaels.
Had more of an effect on pro wrestling than John Cena last year.
A prismatic optics card of Brock Lesnar.
Yep. Also, bigger draw all the time.
Gold certified prismatic of Brock Lesnar.
That's a fucking beautiful card.
It is a beautiful card. I just thought it was funny. There was back to back with another Brock Lesnar card.
Yeah.
A rated rookie of Dakota Lyons. I don't know how she pronounced it. I get distracted.
Wonder why.
And a season ticket of Charlotte Flair.
Sadly, also drew more people to pro wrestling than John Cena last year and was gone for most of the year.
Here, look at this. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to copy and paste. Boom. There we go. For all the listeners out there, if you want to watch all the names of John Morrison ranked, that's the link to it on YouTube. Timestamp 5638 to get straight to that. Or watch the whole thing, and just leave a comment there. Sent here by Raw and Order. Twitch.tv/Raw and Order WBU. But
Homeboy's open was Matt Cardona. Like, he's met cooler people than we have.
Well, I mean, in fairness, if you're in almost any place other than Nebraska,
you get more pro wrestling visits.
I mean, in fairness, I joke that we're Nebraska's America's belly button, but in a way it is, and nobody likes to go near the belly button. But, anyways, moving on. Women's wrestling MVP.
Britt Baker.
Nope.
Tony Storm.
Nope.
Saraya.
Nope.
Yeah, we read it. We got it.
Yes, read your comment. Here, I'll even highlight it here.
Okay, women's wrestling. The man, Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair, number 2.
Number 2.
You're not going to get number 1. Necro might. Ding, ding, ding. Necro got it.
And for number 3, Kairi Sane.
Nope.
How is it not Britt Baker?
Because it's not. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man.
And Becky Lynch isn't up there, you said?
Nope.
Is number 3 a WWE or?
No, AEW.
AEW? Is it, oh shit, Ruby?
No. You were really, really close with one of your guesses at one point.
Jamie Hayter?
Jamie Hayter.
I truthfully don't know that she's a bigger draw than Britt.
You know, the important thing is that since this is
She's a better
MVP,
wrestler.
and she has kind of carried a large portion of the storylines recently, so I guess I understand. But for men's, of course, they separate it into multiple levels. So we've got the Hodge Award, the non-heavyweight MVP. I'm already going to tell you that you and I are not going to get number 1.
Okay, fair enough.
We're also not going to get number 3.
Ricochet's probably number 2.
No.
Bryan Danielson.
Nope.
Is he considered a heavyweight?
Well, he is
Pac.
not
It's
on
gotta
any
be
of them.
Pac, right?
Nope.
Will Ospreay's a heavyweight now. Ray isn't an MVP. Chad Gable?
Nope.
I'm just looking for one of these.
Give you a hint. It's AEW.
Dante Martin.
No.
Orange Cassidy.
Nope. But in a way, you're getting closer.
Sammy Guevara.
No.
Deanna.
In terms, think in AEW. Think in terms of overall popularity and storyline wise.
Yeah, it's not Dante Martin. Hook.
Nope.
I'm flopping here. I'm gonna have to tap out.
Darby Allin.
Oh shit. Yeah. Fuck. I don't even know how I didn't fucking get it. Okay, who are the other 2?
Number 3 is El Desperado.
Okay.
And number 1 is, for the second time on this list, El Hijo del Vikingo.
Wow, he must be really entertaining.
Like I said, I haven't seen much of him, but what I've seen of him, he was supposed to have a match against Omega when Omega got injured, I believe. And so that got put off. And so I don't know if they ever made that matchup. Europe MVP.
Oh,
We're only going to know one of these names.
Walter slash. Okay. Is it B.
I mean,
Priestley?
keep in mind, Gunther has wrestled in the United States
for
basically the entire.
Oh, this
year,
is
so.
they were wrestling over there. Mm-hmm. JD McDonough or Ilya Dragunov.
Nope.
So they both went back over for a while. They had B. Priestley.
I'm gonna tell you this. This guy's bigger than both of them.
Bigger name.
Bigger
or
name
bigger
than both of them.
size.
And size. You're correct on both. We've mentioned his name multiple times. In fact, I'm also going to tell you he comes up again in Japanese MVP.
Oh, Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay
Yeah, duh.
is number 1. Number 2 is Michael Oku, and number 3 is Ricky Knight Jr.
Okay.
Mexico MVP. I'm just going to go through these because I know you're not going to get them. Number 1 is El Hijo del Vikingo. Number 2 is Mystico. And number 3 is Rey Fenix.
Well, Rey Fenix. That makes sense. He's
And
still
then
traveling.
Japanese.
But there's a
MVP.
lot of people putting Rey Fenix above Penta, which is surprising. I think Penta's the better performer of the two.
In a way,
Phoenix has improved significantly over the last 2 years.
I have the same feeling on Phoenix and Pentagon as I do on Matt and Nick Jackson, in the fact that both Phoenix and Nick Jackson are by far the more athletic and more physically gifted of the two brothers.
I don't know. I really like Penta.
Phoenix does some things that I've never seen people do before. And you know, from what I hear, El Hijo del Vikingo is in that same sort of level there, which is why he's number 1 on this list. But Penta wrestles like an old school cruiserweight, and Phoenix wrestles like a high flyer.
Gotcha. That's why I like Penta better. Too bad we can't put it on, but we can list it so people can go click on it.
Boom. There it is. You go there and you can watch Viking.
I'm gonna do it right now since it's a Twitter one.
Japanese MVP. I'm pretty sure you'll get the top 2, and Necro will have a good choice for number 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Okada and oh my god, that's fucking stellar. I'm just watching it, going, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you should die doing that move." Holy shit. Sorry. I'm gonna go with Okada and Ospreay.
Ding ding. Okada and then Ospreay. And Necro gets number 3 there with Syuri. United States / Canada MVP. I don't know why they don't just call this North America MVP. But
So I'm gonna go with CM Punk.
no,
Really?
you are not gonna.
Well,
go with
I mean, he did shit all over the industry. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Roman Reigns.
number 2.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. MJF.
Nope.
Moxley.
Number 1.
Moxley, Roman, and Omega was out too much. Seth?
No, and I'm
Is
going
it-
to tell you. I think.
Is it
I
a
think.
woman?
It is a male. I am also going to tell you that I think you will probably have a similar reaction to this one being number 3 as you did to John Cena.
Fucking Bray Wyatt, he was
No.
gone most of the year. What?
Not Bray Wyatt. This guy was there the whole year. Wrestled a fair amount this whole year.
Braun Breaker.
No.
AEW?
AEW.
Okay. Jericho?
Chris Jericho.
I mean, I get it, but I don't. Like, he was a supporting character all year long.
Chris Jericho, obviously, and I think he knows it. I don't think he'd fight this.
Because there's a draw.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think maybe you could argue Chris Jericho knows that his position now is to set up younger talent, and that he's very valuable at setting up younger talent.
But I don't see how he's more than CM Punk.
Because CM Punk didn't set up younger talent at all. He trashed them all.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho, the only reason we talk about Daniel Garcia as much as we do is because Chris Jericho chose him to be in Jericho Appreciation Society, and
it's no different than Bryan Danielson then.
In a way, you could argue that.
William Regal, for that matter.
But we talk a lot about Sammy Guevara, who Chris Jericho picked 3 years ago to headline the whatever they called that group. I'm totally blanking now. Anyways, but now the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Inner Circle.
Right? Inner Circle, there we go. We could talk about the former Team 2.0, who Jericho chose to feature on Jericho Appreciation Society. Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, and how they are now really well known and popular in AEW because of this.
Yeah,
we can talk about
same guys. You can use Billy Gunn for that, though.
Action Andretti, who wrestled a match on AEW Dark that Chris Jericho commentated on, and said, "Fuck, I want to feature him. I want him to beat me and put him over." And now he's a name that we talk about, you know? And so I think you could argue that over the course of the year, Chris Jericho did more to put over young upcoming talent than almost anyone else in the game.
Absolutely.
And that could make him arguably most valuable. I am putting an argument behind this, but, and yes, Necro, I agree, 2.0 does rule. Daddy Magic.
For heaven's sakes, he's putting over Impractical Jokers right now.
Yeah, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Cool Hands, Angelo Parker. I even loved when he just gave him those names on air. He says, "You're no longer going to be known as, from now on, you're going to be Daddy Magic." Pro Wrestling Match of the Year.
Oh, it's not going to be what you and I would say, which is the Hell in a Cell, Cody and Seth. That's probably number 3.
It is not. It is not number 1, 2, or 3. It did not make the top 3.
Okay.
I am going to say
Ospreay Moxley.
You got one half right.
Ospreay Okada.
Which Ospreay Okada?
2.
Because Ospreay Okada made it on the top 3 twice. Number 3, Ospreay Okada from January at the Tokyo Dome, and then number 1, Ospreay Okada from August at the Tokyo Dome.
So 1 and 2 were the ones that made it. Then.
So,
okay.
And number 2 in the middle
is not WWE. It's Daniel Bryan and CM Punk.
No.
Bryan Danielson and CM Punk. No?
Nope.
Oh my God, yeah. Walter Ilya Dragunov was fantastic, but I don't think it's going to get it.
Also not number 2.
Sheamus and Gunther towards the end of the year.
Nope.
God, that was a 5-star fucking beatdown.
I'm gonna say it's a tag match.
FTR, Young Bucks.
No.
FTR and Briscoes.
FTR Briscoe's dog collar match from December 10th.
Yeah. Yep.
Number 2. And now we're gonna get to. In fact, I'm gonna skip these two because they're gonna give Necro aneurysms.
You're gonna come back to them.
I'm gonna come back to them to because I want them to at least survive till the end of the show.
Okay.
Best on interviews.
RJ City. I fucking love that show, man.
The look on
AEW.
the look on Soraya's face when she realized that RJ City is also a wrestler.
I think she knew. She just sold it really, really well. Oh, you're a wrestler. Really?
I don't know. It looks like she legitimately did not know. Because think about it. She hadn't been on the indie scene.
No, that's true. You're going to put the bump up there. I don't think that's
now, keep in mind, this is best wrestler on interview, so it's not best interview show.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, well, we had it wrong then. Best wrestler on interviews, Moxley's in that category.
number 2.
Yeah, I had it wrong too, Necro. I don't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho.
Nope.
Was the Hangman Moxley stuff, was that in last year? Because Hangman stuff with Renee is great.
It was last year. It did not make it to this list, the top 3. I'm gonna say Necro's right. It is MJF number 1.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to fucking punch him, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Number 3.
It's not Rollins. It's not Rollins. Cody.
Not Rollins. Nope. I don't necessarily agree with number 3.
CM Punk.
It's CM Punk.
Fuck. Why? Because he fucking ruined the fucking game?
Tag team of the year.
Briscoes.
Number 2.
FTR.
Number 1.
And Young Bucks.
Number 3. It's a pretty easy one to do.
Yeah.
Now, I am going to say this. I am going to head a lot of the commentators off at the pass here because they're making a big deal. Dax Harwood made a really big deal on Twitter that AEW did not put out a graphic congratulating FTR by being named Tag Team of the Year. And a lot of people are putting that as evidence that FTR is unhappy in AEW and planning on leaving. And I am putting that firmly in, at least my opinion, evidence that FTR is going to start a program of when they come back being the unappreciated FTR. That they never got their shot for the tag titles, that they didn't get their congratulations when they won Tag Team of the Year. So, most outstanding wrestler.
MJF.
No.
So this is in-ring performance then, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly enough, Necro, no to both of those.
Yeah, Okada's in that category.
Okada's number 3.
Osprey.
Number 1.
Number 2. Number 2, not Rollins.
Not Rollins.
Not Cody.
Not Cody.
AEW. Mm-hmm. We already said Bryan Danielson.
You did not say Bryan Danielson, so
Bryan Danielson.
Yep. So Ospreay 1, Danielson 2, and Okada 3. And then the final for the individual awards, the Luthez / Ric Flair Award for Wrestler of the Year.
Is that MJF?
No.
Danielson?
Nope.
Okada?
Nope.
Ospreay?
Number 3 is Ospreay.
Reigns?
Number 2 is Roman Reigns.
Number 1 is Moxley?
And number 1 is Moxley.
I don't know if I agree with their order, but okay. Good for you, John. Good for you.
And then finally, the 2 to give Necro Aneurysms Best Weekly TV Show.
They're going to say Dynamite is number 1.
You are correct.
SmackDown's number 2.
You are correct.
And Rampage is number 3.
You are correct. Ding, ding, ding. Straight down the road. Yes, Necro. This is I think this is exactly why
Rampage is not the 3rd best weekly TV show.
Moxley got number 1 and Reigns got number 2. I think that's exactly why. Here's the thing: is we have to remember Moxley had to cancel a vacation. He was set to be off camera for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then CM Punk did his stupid douchebaggery. And Moxley canceled his vacation to come back and carry the company. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, just wait till I do promotion of the year.
Okay, promotion of the year. We know WWE's 3. It's got to be AEW, NJP, and NJPW and WWE in that order.
AEW number 1, not New Japan. Stardom number 2.
That's still New
WWE
Japan.
3.
But I gotta get... So, this is a critique to New Japan. Your women's product is better because it has storylines. Dumbasses. Your men's product is I'm the best wrestler in the world, is the storyline. It really is.
Is that all it takes to keep you happy, Necro? Stardom. I'll just say it a bunch. Well, here's the reason that Stardom is ranked separately from New Japan. It's because they run Stardom as a separate entity entirely.
Yes.
And
that should tell them something because they carry better storylines than Stardom.
So much so that they actually created a New Japan women's title that is not a Stardom title, but a New Japan title.
Really? Because they know they're a different product. Like,
they're different products.
New Japan needs to create like a... And maybe that's what... Maybe they'll partner with AEW to pull it off, but a storyline-based New Japan.
Yep. That's why Mercedes Money is the New Japan Women's champion. But the Stardom champion is still the Stardom champion. But yes, promotion of the year, AEW number 1. So, that is the Wrestling Observer newsletter awards for the year. And like I said, we knew in advance, we knew when these came out that they're going to have a lean in one direction. And that lean is not in the direction that Necro really follows.
They've had a lean for ages. They leaned towards WWE versus WCW. Mm-hmm. Significantly towards WWE versus WCW.
Yeah. So to go down, I am going to really quickly go down the tapings for Ring of Honor. I'm not going to give any spoilers as to who won any matches. I am just going to this way, if you want to watch these matches and be surprised, you'll understand. But it looks like they taped two. Taped 4 shows. Give me 1 second because I gotta. Gotta find the ones for. Here we go. Sundays. Okay, so taping on Saturday, they had, for episode 1, they had Slim J versus Mark Briscoe. They had Sean Dean and Charlie Bravo versus The Kingdom. You had Zack Sabre Jr. come in and defend his NJPW World TV Champion against Blake Christian. You had Rohit Raju versus Christopher Daniels. You had Josh Woods versus Konosuke Takeshita. You had the Embassy versus LSG, Rex Lawless, and Joe Keys. You have Ari Daivari versus Mascara Dorado, the former Lindsay Dorado. You have Sky Blue and Madison Rain versus the Renegade Twins. You had Wheeler Yuta announcing that he's going to do an open challenge for his Pure Championship at the next week's show, which, of course, was then taped later on the day. And it is answered by Timothy Thatcher. So on the second show taped, that match is going to happen. You had Lady Frost, formerly of Impact Wrestling, go against Willow Nightingale. You had Claudio Castagnoli versus AR Fox.
The whole time too.
Probably. She's a happy person. Claudio Castagnoli versus AR Fox. You had then on episode 2, Samoa Joe versus Tony Deppen. Marcus Cross and C4 versus Dalton Castle and the Boys. Serpentico and Angelico versus Rush and Dralistico. Trish Adora versus Billy Starks. Trustbusters, Slim J and Ari Daivari versus Jake Christ and Man Scout, Jake Manning. You had the Wheeler Yuta versus Timothy Thatcher match. You had
I would watch that.
Aussie Open versus Rhett Titus and Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. You have Ben Deho versus Eddie Kingston.
I don't like your kind of language there.
Ben Deho. And then you had Ring of Honor World Champion Athena versus Willow Nightingale. Then taping today, you had episode 3 and 4. You had Claudio Castagnoli versus Willie Mack. Dante Martin versus Mike
That's a
Bennett.
spin I want to see, man. Him do the spin, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Grand Metalik and Blake Christian versus the Trustbusters. Jeeves K versus Eddie Kingston. Heon versus Athena in a Proving Grounds match. Silas Young versus Marcus Cross. The Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Championships. Dalton Castle and the Boys challenging the Embassy. Lady Frost versus Sky Blue. And the Outrunners versus Christopher Daniel and Matt Seidel. So some really fun matches there, taped for the next 3 weeks of Ring of Honor TV. Of course, the only way to watch it is via Honor Club.
Honor Club, yeah.
Which is kind of a pain, but to get to some of the things Necro talked about, he said this weekend we had SHP Sean Henderson presents 3 years where they honored BLK out. Tim Donst and a few others with their Hall of Fame. Bam Sullivan versus Louis Ramos from that show was really good. He said the Blitzkrieg Pro Plastic Cup Politics was a fun show that had TJ Crawford versus Kevin Blackwood and Andy Brown versus Ali Catch. Said a solid DDT show where Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian lost the DDT heavy metalweight Ironman championship. And then today there was Expect the Unexpected Wrestling, Lightning in a Bottle, few solid matches, a WWF style hardcore match between Matt Cardona and Danny D'Amato, and a crazy IWD TV title, and a TLC match for the main event. So, looks like some really fun things. Oh, and then he just added, and a Beyond Wrestling show today, Perfection or Vanity, where Zack Sabre Jr. wrestled. Quite a few other decent matches, but their lighting wasn't the best. That single blinding indie floodlight always gets him. Yeah, I saw your tweets about it. You were an unhappy camper with those lights. Okay, I'm going to go through my final 2 packs of cards, and then we'll wrap things up for the day, I think. So, Madcap Moss. I really like the mix on these cards. Humberto. A bronze Junkyard Dog.
Okay.
This is a duplicate Walter card.
The Ring General.
Mm-hmm. I think this is also a duplicate Legacy Undertaker.
I believe you are correct.
A Origins Damian Priest. And a authentic memorabilia without the memorabilia of Solo Sikoa. And then the last pack for the night. Standard Chronicles Godfather. A Standard Chronicles Big John Studd. I think it's really easy for modern audiences to not realize how big Big John Studd was. His name was not ironic.
I think because he wasn't a giant by the definition of giant. I think you're right. I think that's why people miss that so often.
We have
Molly Holly.
Chronicles Molly Holly. We have a very fitting and very, very cool Bronze Origins Eddie Guerrero. We have a certified chromium Charlotte Flair. We have a standard blue playoffs Kofi Kingston. And a Luminance Brooks Jensen, which is firmly in the who the fuck is this category. But yes, yeah, Necro, we'll talk it over, try to find a day when all 3 of us can do things to do. Like I said, one of the things that I've been wanting to do is a rewatch of the rewatch of All In, the original All In, where we watch it with fresh eyes for the first time in over 5 years now, which could be a lot of fun. NASA's Crew 6 to the ISS having some issues. Oh, knows. It's not like it's losing Elon any money. That's just all taxpayer money that's being lost now. Anyways, but yeah, we'll keep you informed when we can figure out a time. Because yeah, that would be something that if we can find a time when we can do the entirety of All In and then pause the recording and then start again and do a react along for one of your matches. Or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. We'll find a time for that. But we'll definitely keep you informed. But on that note, 2 hours and 12 minutes of this, and I got to work in the morning, and Fabe has to work in the morning. And I'm fairly sure Necro's got some sort of match from Japan that he's got to watch now. Because he's up till all hours watching those stuff. But we're going to go ahead and close the book. This is the point that I make sure to point out that you can support us in all sorts of ways, including supporting us on Twitch through bits. You can send us a bit, as little as 1 bit, or as many bits as you want, because every bit helps. You can also subscribe to us. You can support us through tips. We've got a tip page. That is a really great way to send some money our way. We've got a merch page where you can go and check out our merch and buy some sweet items like that. Or like I said, the tip page. The links are going to be in the doobly-doos for all of this stuff or up on the screen as it is right now. So there are all sorts of ways that you can support us. But the easiest way to support us is to like, share, and subscribe to make sure you click that follow button, even if you're not subscribing to us. If you follow us on Twitch, that way you get notified when we go live. To share it with your friends so that they know about us and they can come join us on it and join the conversation that way. That's the best way to do it. You can also follow us on the social media. You can follow me, as it says right there, at Raw and Order WBU. That's Twitch, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's YouTube. The only place it isn't is Facebook, where it's at Pissant Podcast because of reasons I'm tired of explaining. You can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent K. Fabe right there.
Like it says
It's
right
on Twitter.
there. Right over there.
There.
Right there. Pointed the wrong way at first. And you can follow JLB. I'm not even going to talk about where, because he decided he wanted to sleep rather than join us today.
Tired.
So I'm tired. Right?
We
But
don't
like I
have
said,
lives with children and stuff that make us tired.
yeah. But all sorts of ways you can help us out that way. But like, share, and subscribe is the easiest and absolutely free. So that's a great way. But thanks to Necro for coming and joining us in our conversation there. More the merrier is always thing. And we will be back in just a couple days for our Tuesday night game night of Fantasy Booking Institute, where you can come and you can help us fantasy book things or play some really fun games, sometimes involving random card draws. So all sorts of fun stuff there. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. Thanks to everyone who joined us. We will see you soon.
Bye.